Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Power of Law. My name is Bishan Sikdar. In this channel, आप लोग जानते ही है हम लोग लेबर लॉ रिलेटेड जितने भी हिडन जेम्स है उसके बारे में डिस्कशन करते हैं. ये एक न्यू इनिशिएटिव है जिसके तहत हम लोग अभी से इंडस्ट्री के जितने एमिनेंट पर्सनालिटीज है फ्रॉम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्री डिफरेंट डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स उसको बुलाने वाले हैं और उनके मुंह से हम लोग इट इज लाइक हॉर्सेस माउथ से हम लोग इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक इम्पोर्टेंट प्रैक्टिकल सिचुएशन के बारे में जानेंगे. डेज आर चेंजिंग, मिलेनियल्स टू जनरेशन एक्स वाई जेड, उसके बाद भी बहुत कुछ आने वाला है. बट ये सब तो बहुत टाइम से इंडस्ट्री में है, ये लोग पैटर्न देख रहे हैं, प्रैक्टिकली सी कर रहे हैं. तो इनके पास से सुनना मतलब these people know the in and out of the business now. So आज के हमारे गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर है मिस्टर बेंजामिन हेम्ब्रम. Welcome to our channel, sir, and it is our total pleasure to have your time, especially your time. I know your time is really really valuable, and he have a deep experience of 25 years, more than 25 years. He's passed out of Tata Institute of Social Science, and he have a very deep knowledge of HR, IR, ER in hardcore manufacturing, and deep knowledge of industrial psychology also. So sir, हम लोग को जो pearl of knowledge आज share करने वाले हैं, I don't think so you will find it in books also. In books, theory is there. Sir have the practical knowledge. So over to you, sir. Few words from your side.
Firstly, Vishan, thank you for having me here. It's a nice feeling here. So I am Benjamin, like Vishan has told me, I'm Benjamin Hembrom. I am a pass out of TISS 1996 batch, which over 25 years of experience in various industries, both in PSUs, in MNCs, in privately owned companies, and in Indian MNCs too. So over this 25 years of experience, we've been across all spectrum of industries. So yeah, it has been a great learning, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do justice to this episode which you have invited me to. Yeah, over to you.
सर जस्ट एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है, हम लोग के दर्शकों का ऑलवेज एक कमेंट में हम लोग आते हैं कि जो भी सिनेरियोस है, अगर आप लोग के इतना डीप एक्सपीरियंस है, एक आध ड्यूरिंग आंसरिंग एक आध अगर प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल भी उसमें ऐड कर दे तो नथिंग लाइक इट, इससे बढ़िया कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता.
Definitely that I'll try to do my best on that. Yeah.
थैंक यू सर. हम लोग स्ट्रेट अवे डिस्कशन में चलते हैं. सबसे पहले जो दो टॉपिक के ऊपर आज हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं, दैट इज इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर एक्ट. ये जो टॉपिक है, ये टॉपिक बहुत जमानों से और जो टाइम आने वाला है उसमें हॉट टॉपिक ही रहने वाला है, नो डाउट अबाउट इट. बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ पे एक डिस्प्यूट का बहुत बड़ा तालमेल रहता है. हम लोग डेफिनेशंस वगैरह में एकदम भी नहीं जाएंगे. जो लोग आज के टाइम में काम कर रहे हैं कंपनी में, और स्पेशली द HR डिपार्टमेंट्स, मे बी फ्रेशर, मे बी मिड लेवल पे है, जो सीनियर लेवल पे जाने का पॉसिबिलिटी है, उनके लिए ये टॉक हेविली इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो ये दो मुद्दे के ऊपर आज जो बात हम लोग करेंगे, प्रैक्टिकल कुछ क्वेश्चन हम लोग सर से पूछने वाले हैं. बट उससे पहले सर एक मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, जो एक हॉट टॉपिक भी है, कि लेबर लेजिस्लेशन में डू यू थिंक एनी क्रिटिकल चेंज इज रिक्वायर्ड इन सेंट्रल एरिया में? अगर बोलेंगे सेंट्रल लॉ एक्ट के तहत लेबर लेजिस्लेशन में कुछ चेंज करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है आज के सिनेरियो में खड़े होके?
Actually, अगर देखोगे, all these acts are quite archaic now. बहुत पुराने acts, like you see, the Factories Act is 1948. So 48 to now it's almost 75 years plus. So if you see that, तो उसके हिसाब से और बहुत सारे एक्ट है जो outdated तो नहीं बोलूँगा, because they're still serving the purpose, but they need to be updated. And update करने के लिए the government has already done the action on that. The four codes hopefully they'll be implemented soon. So with those new codes, I hope we'll be able to address a lot of issues that have the archaic and laws which are there for the labor and also for the industry. So it should be a win-win situation for the industry and the workmen and the staff who work in the industry. So क्योंकि ये law दोनों के लिए है, ये law industry को operate करने के लिए भी है और ये law worker के rights को protect करने के लिए भी है. तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूं मैंने ये चारों codes को पढ़ा है and I am hopeful when they implement it, it will be very, very useful to everyone. So it is going to be an ease of business for everyone, ease of working, ease of running the business and ease of employment. So हर चीज का ease का होना जरूरी है. Otherwise ये laws को change करने या नए change करने कोई फर्क नहीं आता है तो कोई मतलब नहीं. So ये codes अगर जो 4 code अभी जो already pass हुए हैं उस पर लेकिन उसका implementation अभी बाकी है. तो जब भी implement होगा मैं पूरे का पूरी उम्मीद करता हूँ तो ये industry as a whole and both the companies and the workmen and the staff सबके लिए ये बहुत ही फायदेमंद बहुत ही लाभदायक होगा और definitely और जितना भी laws होंगे सब updated रहेंगे तो up to the current standard up to the current requirement के हिसाब से ही होगा. Yeah.
Okay. सर इंडस्ट्रियल डिस्प्यूट एक्ट की तरफ थोड़ा चलते हैं. आपका डीप एक्सपीरियंस है वेज सेटलमेंट का, आपने काफी सारे किए. आप प्लीज अपने व्यूअर्स से काइंडली शेयर कीजिए बिफोर वेज सेटलमेंट, ड्यूरिंग वेज सेटलमेंट एंड आफ्टर वेज सेटलमेंट व्हाट आर द necessary, very necessary steps first, and second, especially during wage settlement जिस टाइप का chaotic situation तैयार हो जाता है उसको पहले से कैसे हम लोग प्रिवेंटिव एक्शन ले सकते हैं कि लोगों का मोरल डाउन ना हो, जॉब जाने का खतरा ना हो, एट द सेम टाइम प्रोमोटर भी हैप्पी रहे, प्रोडक्शन भी ना रुके. ये सारे मुद्दे की तरफ हम लोग थोड़ा चलेंगे. आप प्लीज थोड़ा सा हाईलाइट कीजिए मैटर को.
तुम्हारा आंसर डायरेक्टली जानने से पहले मैं थोड़ा सा आईडी एक्ट के बारे में बताना चाहता हूँ.
जी.
आईडी एक्ट बेसिकली इट्स अ एम्प्लॉयर डिस्प्यूट, एम्प्लॉय डिस्प्यूट को एड्रेस करने के लिए एक्ट बना हुआ. अब नाउ दिस इज अ एक्सट्रीम, सो व्हाई डू यू नीड अ डिस्प्यूट? अगर एक जगह पे काम करते हो, why should there be a dispute? First of all, it is a act to resolve disputes, so you should not create disputes. ये नहीं कि वो ID Act है तो dispute create करे उस law को लागू करने के लिए. So there has to be no disputes first. So if you have no disputes, then you don't need the ID Act. So it becomes irrelevant if you have a dispute. Now ये जो मैं कह रहा हूँ इसमें बहुत बड़ा हाथ होता है मैनेजमेंट का. और मैनेजमेंट इज द वन हु डायरेक्ट्स. मैनेजमेंट जो है वो गाइडिंग फोर्स है. मैनेजमेंट के पास ये होना जरूरी है इंफॉर्मेशन कि हम किस दिशा में जाना चाहते हैं और जिस दिशा में जाएंगे उसका क्या दशा होने वाला है. तो दिशा को डिसाइड करना और दशा को डिसाइड करना भी मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर है. बेसिकली आप अगर किसी भी आदमी को ट्रीट करोगे तो आप एक्सपेक्ट करोगे वो उसका बिहेवियर आपके साथ उसी हिसाब से होगा. सो मोस्ट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट जितना मैंने देखा है, if they handle properly they don't turn into a dispute. So you don't need a dispute ID Act. So that's what I love to say. Now wage negotiations, why does this happen? So and why do we need wage negotiations first of all? अगर बहुत सारे कंपनीज में जहाँ पर wage बहुत सारे कंपनी ऐसा है कि people are happy with what management can give. So you don't need to have a wage negotiation provided your employees feel that whatever you are giving is what they should be getting, and that is what the industry is paying. So they should be happy. Now let's go to a situation where you need to have a wage negotiation. Now wage negotiation is a good thing, and unions and employees have been given the right by the by law that they can form trade unions and they can negotiate for on their behalf. But now, again, I would like to say, which is my learning from the last so many years of working, the wage negotiations are again directed by how management wants to take it ahead. Now, suppose I got a wage negotiation today. And when if I start working for the wage negotiation today, that is not how it works. अगर मेरा वेज नेगोशिएशन आज से है तो मुझे ये वेज नेगोशिएशन के लिए 2 साल पहले से काम करना पड़ता है. It's a ground work which you need to prepare. If you know there's a problem, you need to address those issues before the wage negotiation comes. So the wage negotiation is just a part, not a redressal process. It is just a negotiation for the wages. So you need to understand that people don't come to fight with you. People come to negotiate with you on certain parameters that हमको इतना पगार चाहिए और क्यों चाहिए. But when you have wage negotiation for addressing everything, your discipline issues, your all of the issues except for wages, then you have a problem. So बाकी का issues आपको पहले address कर लेना चाहिए. And wage negotiation के time सिर्फ आप wage के बारे में, terms of employment के बारे में बात करो, तो you will have a very smooth wage negotiation. So yeah. So first of all, what people need to do or what management needs to do, don't wait for the wage negotiation time to start. Start building the environment for the wage negotiation before 2 years of the wage negotiation. So because it takes time for a culture to build. आप एक दिन में culture बना नहीं सकते हो. Culture बनाने के लिए आपको बहुत time लगता है. And like I said earlier, it is the management to decide the culture और ये decide दशा या दिशा किस हिसाब से जाएगा, that management decides. So if I want the company to have a certain culture, मुझे उसके लिए बहुत पहले से काम करना पड़ता है. ये नहीं कि मैं वेट नेगोशिएशन में बैठूंगा तो मैं बोलूंगा मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए तो कभी होगा नहीं. So then you are under attack, you will confront it. You should never confront. So you should go with a culture which is built with a culture of respect, with a culture of thinking कि management जो करेगी वो employee के भलाई के लिए करेगी. Why should a union come and say कि सर मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, आप नहीं दोगे तो मैं लड़ाई करूँ? Because they don't trust you. If they trust you, they will not come. They will come and argue कि ठीक है सर हमको इतना दो, हमको उतना दो. But if they understand where the company is in both the financial terms, in terms of business, in terms of manpower, तो ये कभी भी उनका unrational या irrational जो demand है कभी नहीं आए. Because they know the total families. अगर मेरे पास, let us say if I have employees of 2000 strength, 2000 लोगों का घर वो कंपनी से चल रहा है, तो कोई भी यूनियन ये कभी नहीं चाहेगा या कोई मैनेजमेंट ये कभी नहीं चाहेगा ये कंपनी को घाटा में डाल करके या लॉस में डाल करके 2000 लोगों का परिवार को मैं खराब करूँ. So 2000 into 4, 6, whatever the number is, no, most of the unions will not want that to happen because they are responsible to the own workmen, they're responsible to people, they're responsible to families. Like management is responsible to workmen, responsible to families, to everyone. So you can never have a union, or you should never have a union who will try to be detrimental to the workmen, to the company. Company the baat mein, company यहाँ बंद हो जाए कहीं और चले जाएगी. But then it is the responsibility of their union to be responsible for the workmen, उनके family. Like if today, if I have a work strength of 3000 workmen in a place, उतना workmen का family को चलाना है, उतना workmen के लोग they are depending on the earning of the company. तो कभी भी नहीं सोचेगा, कभी भी नहीं बोलेगा कंपनी को मैं प्रॉब्लम में डालूं. They will definitely negotiate, but you need to build a culture where they make them understand. Transparency होना चाहिए कि हम कितना प्रॉफिटेबली काम कर रहे हैं, हम कितना वर्कलोड से कम कर रहे हैं, हमारे पास कितना ऑर्डर्स है, बिजनेस कैसे कर रही है, पैंडेमिक में ऊपर है नीचे है. पैंडेमिक में बहुत सारे कंपनीज ने 50% वेजेस में काम कर रहा है. The unions have done a fabulous job. They have agreed कि हम इतना में काम करेंगे because they know कि कंपनी is under pressure, under financial pressure. अगर कंपनी बोलेगी हम नहीं कर पाएंगे, everyone has to sit at home. And it was a crisis time. उस टाइम में अगर बिजनेस को यूनियंस साथ ना दे, तो there is no point having union. So union का they got a dual role. Like management has a dual role of running the factory and handling the workmen. The unions have equal responsibility in running the factory and handling the one members, the workmen, whichever. So yeah, so first thing I would like to say, so whenever you go for a negotiation, build the platform before 2 years. Start building the environment of the negotiation before 2 years. If you just say कि आज कल से मेरा due है, आज से मैं ये करूँगा, it's going to be a disaster. So most of the time you will fail most of the time you'll have prolonged discussions and negotiations. Most of the time you'll have an unhealthy environment in the factory, and it will not be a conducive workplace. So you could have a strike, you could have production losses, and everything is going to be in the loss. So वो पूरा का पूरा जो प्रक्रिया है, पूरा process है, that needs to be handled by the HR very sensitively and proactively. If HR is reactive, you can never have a good, LTS, never have a good settlement. If you have a proactive and a developmental HR, you will have a very good settlement. See, the money doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, it does matter. But then the LTS will be very conducive, and you can make the workers, representative, the unions understand why you are able to give certain amount and why you cannot give more than that, and why you've given the best that you could give. So that's one thing. Now in the process of negotiation, you need to really be prepared. If you are in a certain, let's say you are in a industry, let's say you are in Baroda, working in Baroda. Now you need to understand what is the salary, the wage ranges of the workmen around, what perks are available to you. So you need to do a study on what can be given to them. They also know when they come to the table of negotiation, they very well know what can be derived from the management, what cannot be derived. See, whatever the COD, the Charter of Demand might say, but they very well know what can be got and what can be derived from the management. So we as HR, or rather the entire HR fraternity, needs to enlighten or support the management, top management, that this is what we can give and this is the best what we can give. And I'm very sure the unions understand if you talk them properly, so they will understand. And in the entire of my career which I've gone through, I've seen at least 7 to 8 negotiations. I've been active in few of them. So if you actually make them understand, they understand. So you do not go through a process where the entire culture is impacted, the entire working environment is impacted. You don't have to do that. So you need to build an environment, and you need to be transparent enough to tell the unions that this is what we can give you, this is why we can give you. If you do that, I think your negotiation will go smooth. Your negotiation, your wage negotiation is going to go smooth. So you need to work throughout. So negotiation period हो या ना हो, आपके पास वो एक environment बनाने की जरूरत, कल्चर बनाने का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है HR का, एक ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है HR का, एक वर्क एनवायरनमेंट बिल्ड करने का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी HR का. तो ये तो अनस्टॉपेबल, ये कभी भी स्टॉप नहीं हो सकता है. You need to build it, so your negotiations go on. And then what I believe is you need to have a developmental IR, not a reactive IR. If you have a developmental IR, people will know that you're doing something for them. Reactive IR में क्या होता है, you respond to what comes. So don't do that. You should never respond. You should never be a responsive IR. That is, responsive IR is not a good thing. You have to be a proactive IR. Understand what they need. Give them. Even before asking, you could give them. You could have less issues. You could have like पुराने जमाने में क्या होता था, HR managers क्या करते थे कि problem create करो, problem solve करो और अपना पेट पे तपकाओ. But that's not the right way. What should happen? So you should actually be proactive. Give them, create create a competency for them, so that in case if they would to leave the company, they can go and go to a better place. So they would think हाँ company मेरे लिए बहुत सारी चीज कर रही है, so मेरे को company के लिए बुरा नहीं सोचना है. So once they don't think bad of the company, there'll be a very good negotiation. I hope you agree to what I say.
Yes, definitely, absolutely, sir. Sir, can you share a very brief practical experience, as you have multiple wage settlement, practical, at least 2 to 3 minutes at least. छोटा सा मतलब क्या हुआ था, वाकया क्या हुआ था. नेम, कोई भी नेम हम लोग नहीं लेंगे, कोई कंपनी, nothing, as per your convenience.
So I'll just share a previous company's experience. This wage settlement went on for about a year or so. So this settlement was just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me repeat it. The wage settlement was quite prolonged because it was delayed because of some reason or other. And we had to uh, close this waste settlement quite early. Now there were multiple unions. There were about 3 unions there. So this place had to, you had to talk to each and everyone, uh, go to them, talk to them. So what we understood was, when people sit together, a lot of things happen, because there are competitive unions, and the one would try to show that is a better other one. So you need not do it just like after office, or you go and meet them outside the office, talk to them, make them understand, and that way we could manage to do a very good negotiation. So there were 3 unions. We were negotiating with them on the table, but then there was also work being done outside the table. So you had to go outside the factory, talk to them individually. So when you talk to them individually, they maybe they open up more, and they tend to understand more, because when they sit together, the 3 unions are competing with each other, because they know कि मेरा वजन ज्यादा है कि उसका वजन ज्यादा है. So जो वजन ज्यादा होगा उसका वजन ज्यादा दिखाने की कोशिश करेगा. So but when you talk to the individual outside, when you talk to them as a, not as a boss or subordinate relationship, they tend to open up more. So this is how we could really crack the case, and we got what we had to get. So this is one way you can do it. So there are different ways, but you have to come up with different ways depending on the situation that you are in. So there's no one right or one wrong way. As long as works out for you, it is a right way. So yeah, but you need to be, but the one constant thing is, you need to have a very good environment, a conducive environment for the negotiation. Yes, if you don't build that, you're going to have a problem. So that is constant. But there are different means and ways to actually go to a different level of understanding on negotiation. Yeah.
Sir,
So I
as per your opinion, for any large scale manufacturing IR position, IR manager or AGM or DGM position, what are the core competencies are very, very important?
Can you repeat the question? I'm not able to understand.
Yeah. The question is, as per your opinion, for a large scale manufacturing setup, for a IR manager or AGM or DGM, what are the core competencies which are very, very important?
Okay. So the first is being proactive. Okay. So to be proactive, you need to understand the underlying, what's happening in the shop floor. So that information needs to come to you before things really build up. So you need to have connections. You need to have people telling you. You need to be with the people to understand what is happening in the plant. So once you know what the requirement of people are, and then you start to act on them, this is the first priority. So you'll be proactive. You're able to understand what's going on the ground floor, at the ground level. You need to understand what's going on the shop floor. Once you know the requirement of people, then other things are very, very easy. So you can either do it or you may not do it. So, but that things are not going to reach the level where you have a confrontation, or where people are going to be unsatisfied with certain things. So once you know those things, you'll be able to. So that's the first most important thing. The other thing is, you need to be updated on certain developments that actually happens. You need to build on your skills. You need to build on your understanding of IR. You need to build on understanding of your license skills, so that people understand that you are worth. Yeah, people should not say that this person does not have any worth and is just sitting in a place and doing nothing. So you should do a lot of things which people feel that it's for them. So mostly you need to do developmental things. So in whatever field, it could be small level, but developmental in all areas needs to be constant. So that's one thing, it has to be constant. You have to be developmental. So there has to be things improving. Things need to be improved. So in whatever way you do, whatever things you do, you always need to think that what can I do better? It could be the payroll, it could be, and whatever experience that you give to them. The people feel there is something that they are getting, and they will not demand from you. So why do you demand? Because you think you're not getting. So there should not be something. You should not come to a situation where people demand from you. So when people demand from you and you give them, they don't value it. But when people when you give people what they need before the demand, they know like, okay, I need to do so. I did not think or think management is there to think about me, and they will take care of my requirement. And also you need to also be very, very clear and firm on what you cannot give. So there could be a lot of things where the management or there's a requirement, but the management decides that this we cannot do. That needs to be communicated, telling them why you cannot do, and you need to firm on that. Okay, this we cannot do because for such and so reason. And I'm sure that if you elaborate to them or if you discuss and tell them clearly the reason why you cannot do, people understand and there will be no issues. And so these are 3-4 points which you need to really be understanding. And one thing is, you need to be really you need to forecast what's going to happen. So if there is something happening today, what it could lead to tomorrow, that you need to understand. So whatever, like I said earlier, the management needs to understand how or whether take it where they want to take it. So if you understand that there is something where you want to take it, you will have to plan on that. And if you don't plan on that, there's someone else going to direct your direction. So you need to direct your direction, not let someone else direct your direction. So this is some things that good qualities which a person here with a big manufacturing setup needs to have. This is the primary requirement. There are a lot of other requirements, but this is the primary requirement which a person needs to have.
Sir, one important thing, do you think during collective bargaining discussion, if that discussion will be conducted by male or female, which one will be more effective? Is there any pattern or anything, any specific gut feeling that it will be done better by male or it will be done better by female? Any such gut feeling as per your experience? Controlling the show. I mean to say, the controlling the whole show.
Okay, I would not. I don't think there is any difference, because I've had bosses who are females and I've had bosses who are males. So as long as they understand the spirit of the collective bargaining, you will not have a problem. And like I said earlier, you need to understand the process, how it works. So you would say, chalo ye worker log ko kya janta hai? You should not, this statement is a very wrong statement. The worker representatives are representing about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 workmen, and represent them is not a joke. It's a big responsibility. So when you're talking to people, you need to respect them. So that the thing is, it's not about gender. It's about a personality, how is able to handle it. So if you think that this person is going to be fair, it's going to be male or female, it's not going to make a difference. If the person understands the spirit of collective bargaining, it's not going to make a difference. And so it has to work. So it's not about gender, it's about the person's ability to handle the situation, the person's ability to understand the situation, and the know-how of the process of LTS, or the bargaining process and labor laws. So if you know the whole thing, that it doesn't make a difference, because ultimately a HR person has to get the job done. He has to come to the LTS with the budget given. The units have to stand for the workmen and get whatever they can best from the management. So the both do not you don't need to have, because there are units which are very, very aggressive, and they are led by women. So I would not have to mention, but I know of unions personally which are led by women, but they are very, very aggressive. So you should not think that if it is led by women, they will decide, or if it is led by men, it's going to be very, very aggressive. It could be both ways. So it could be other ways. So gender is not any criteria which should decide which way the union is going to go or which way the management is going to go. It all depends on who are those office bearers or who are the management representatives. So, and what they know about the whole process.
It's a great insight, sir, actually, because many people have some biasness regarding this matter specifically, but great insight, sir. Sir, we'll move into the next section, Contract Labor Act. There are many instances after hiring a very good contractor, plant manager, HR plant head, it's like a nightmare, basically, whom I have hired. So please give some light on this section. What are the crucial steps which are very, very important before hiring any labor contractor?
Okay, so firstly, when you hire a labor contract or when you hire any services, today if I have to buy from Amazon, I need to do my own research. So I go to Amazon, I go to other places. It's like buying a service. So you are taking a service from a contractor. Now, see, things can go right, can go wrong anytime. I'm not saying that things will not go bad, even after doing a lot of research work. But if you do a lot of research work, the things are going wrong, the chances could be less. So what you need to do is, you would, let's say you are hiring a contract for any services. Let's say you would like to have a transport service. You would like to hire buses for your employees. Now, what you need to do is there's certain criteria which you need to fill up. Let's say you say this person is to be operating for the last 10 years, so that you are assessing his credibility. Now he needs to have a turnover of so many things, so many crores. So that you are assessing his capability in case there is a loss, will you be able to handle it? So there are certain parameters which you need to set and judge those contractors on those parameters. So once you know the parameters that these people are going to fit into this parameters, this is by my requirement. So they should have served in this many companies, they should have worked for this many years, they should have been able to provide so many buses. All those things you need to first fix it and say that this, if this is the criteria of the person meets my criteria, he will be a suitable contractor to us. Now, so that's the first part. That's the selection part of a contractor. Now, the second part comes to financials. So now, obviously, when you are hiring a service, you will try to hire a service which is at a lower rate. So once you have a parameters of hiring contractors, you know, okay, these people fall under my criteria and they can provide me services. So one part is over. So you know these people are good people and they can provide me services which I require. The second part is the services which I at what cost is going to come. So you are going to ask for biddings. You're going to say, oh, okay, now give me a quote. And then you once you get the quotes, you're going to negotiate, okay, this is what I can pay and this is what I require. Now, when you hire a contractor, especially a contractor, a labor contractor, or who has a lot of legal compliances to do, you need to ensure and tell it very, very strongly that all compliances have to be done. Because a contractor can put you in a problem only if he does not do his legal compliances. अगर वो अपने legal compliances नहीं करता है तो ही कोई company कोई problem होता है. If he doesn't legal compliances, the only problem could be that you would ask him to go. वो ठीक है, you will get another service provider. But अगर वो contractor ने compliances, labor compliances या legal compliances जो fulfill नहीं किया है, as a principal employer, if he does not comply, you are supposed to comply. So every month, on month, you're supposed to check whether the person is complying. If he's not complying, you're supposed to take the suitable actions to be taken. You can't wait for the half a year or 6 months और उसके बाद बोलो कि यार तुमने तो comply नहीं किया. Then that whole accountability falls on the principal employer, which is not correct. So there are certain things. One, choosing contractor, yes, it is a tedious task, and if you do the task right at the time, you're going to have a good contractor. Not again, I'm again saying that process could sometimes fail, but failure could be minimal. But if you don't do your homework at the initial time, as per the required standards, the chances of failing at a later stage is high. And legal compliance, if you don't check the legal compliance, you could land into a problem. But if you check the legal compliance on day-to-day basis, the company landing into a problem is much lesser than what it would land into. So choosing a contractor in the right process and following up legal compliances, seeing the compliances are met by the contractor, ये दो अगर करोगे तो your chances of being in a problem is minimal. I'm not saying may over, but it's minimum. Sometimes the contractor can file a suit against you, but that's okay. So as long as you don't violate the terms of the condition of the contract, you have no issues. But if you If you violate the terms and conditions of the contract, you could have a problem. Also, the terms and condition between you and the contractor, I mean the company and the contractor, is a legal thing. So whenever you have any corrections or whenever you provide any services which are not within the scope of the contract, you need to ensure that you are given it in writing. Or if you, let's say, if you are ensuring that you are imposing penalty for a service, you should give it in writing so the contractor knows that he is being given a penalty being imposed for so and so reason. So he knows, or anything he could defend that, he could do it. Because I know contractors who have filed a suit against companies for penalties which are imposed to them when they were working. So during the service, they did not say anything. When the service was discontinued, they filed cases against the company, and which is a bad situation. So you should be taking other person quite seriously, because the contractor is a legal entity, and he's a partner. So you treat it as a partner, but then you should be always sure that whatever terms and conditions that you have executed with the contractor should be complied. So three things: select a contractor properly, abide by the terms and condition, and ensure that legal compliance is met. If you do this, you will have very less issues, and I think so you'll hardly have any issues.
सर एक थोड़ा controversial question है, because in legal terms also many people are saying many things, but थोड़ा सा gloomy area है. I want to know from your mouth, in India, can any employee work into different companies? Can any employee can work into different companies? Can that person have 2 PF account, 1 UN? That is fine. Some people are saying, yeah, legally okay. Some people are say doubtful. Some people are say no. Please highlight, sir.
Okay. Like I said in my previous question, that you enter into an agreement with the contractor. Okay. So similarly, the company enters into an agreement with the employee. So your appointment letter is an agreement. So it's a terms of employment on which you are employed. So in case your employment letter says that you cannot accept any other employment during the term of employment with this company, you cannot be double employed, you cannot be employed for more than one company. So you're bound to be employed only by that company. Because at the moment you accept the appointment letter, you're accepting that you cannot be employed by another company, or you will not be employed by another company. But let us say the employment letter does not say that you are not, that it doesn't talk about your employment with other companies, or that you cannot be employed with other. There is no mention on that. So legally you can be employed with another company, but then the other company also should not be telling you that you cannot be employed with other company. So let's say I am employed with company A, and it does not mention about my employability that I cannot be employed in a second company, but I can employed in second and employment number B, in a company number B. If that company says that I cannot be employed with another company, so my employment with the first company should be cancelled from me. So I should not accept second one. Now, if both the companies have no mention of anything, I can be employed by both of them. But as a moral employee, I need to tell both the companies that I'm being employed, so that by both the companies, so that at a later stage, no one can tell me that why we're employed, because a lot of times you need to spend time for both the companies. So let's say there's an emergency for both the companies on a single day or a single hour. So how do you handle that? But technically, legally, you can, provided your appointment letter does not tell you that you should not be employed in any other company. But normally, at a standard employment letter, you would be told that you cannot seek employment or cannot take employment when you're employed with this company. So if the employment letter mentions that, you're bound to be taking no other employment in any other company. But if your employment letter does not mention that, you have the liberty to do so. But as a moral responsibility, you should tell the employee that I am taking employment with other company because employment data is not, because there could be issues, there could be places, and then you could land into a problem because both the employer will say you are not taking responsibility of my emergency. So why should I employ you? So tomorrow you could lose a job from both the companies. That's a risk which you take. But if you tell them, uh, there are like there are so many companies who let people to do part-time job like HR people. They can go on a maybe on a day to teach a certain institutes. So they this is not employment. So, but then they take permission that I'm going to teach. I'm going to go to the college and teach for this many hours in any week on a particular day. So the company has to let the person go and permit him that okay you are, but if the company does not permit him and still the person goes to teach that to the college, then he can be terminated because of breach of contract. So it depends on the appointment letter and the terms and conditions of liability. So there's no hard and fast rule that two or more employment cannot be done or can be done. It all depends on how you're employed. So what's the terms and condition of the employment? Yeah, I hope this is answers the question.
No, this suffice the whole scenario, whole question, and whole answer, everything. So last and most important, especially the people who are straight away coming from campuses to the corporate. As per the current situation, war is going on, share markets up down, too much of volatility. Everyone knows the situation.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset is very, very important to be successful in the industry? Whosoever is joining as a fresh.
Okay, so people who are joining in fresh are expecting things to happen very fast. So these days if you see reels, you have got if you open a mobile, you find reels. You will have so many reels of half a minute, half a second. All those things happen. So people want they need things to happen very very fast. Now the people need to understand a lot of processes don't happen very very fast. Now if I have to grow in an industry and I wish that I could be a CEO at the age of 30. A lot of people have been CEOs at the age of 30. I'm not saying that. But then there'll be very few people, majority of people will not be CEOs at the age of 30 or at the 45. So majority of people will be people who will grow slowly. Now the first thing is you need to understand the reality. Now I need to assess what is my potential, how much can I do, and what is my capability to actually be able to handle things, because you need a lot of experience to handle things. You need a lot of insight. You need a lot of skill set. You need a lot of like people handling skills, machine handling skills, a lot of analysis skills. So these things take time. But what I understand from now, from my experience with younger people is they expect things to happen very very fast. So first thing I would advise them, the initial years they should spend time in learning of there are different environments, there are different different things that happen in different industries. So let's say you're working in an IT industry, the culture is different. You're working in a manufacturing industry, the culture is different. You're working in FMCG, the culture is different. So depending on where the person is working, you need to first understand the culture. You need to first understand the growth path. You need to understand what is the process I need to adopt to reach a certain level. So that's one thing which people need to learn. So they will understand the culture of the industry, because the industry culture is different than what it looks from outside, and that understanding of the culture is very, very important. Once you understand the culture of anything, suppose it's just like if you have to move to UK or to USA or any other country, you will first need to understand the culture of the place. So similarly, when you go into an industry, you need to understand the culture of the industry. Only then you need to understand if I fit for this or not. And a lot of time people feel that they are pressurized, they don't fit into the culture. But that could be true. But then once you need to spend some time to actually say that whether you are fitting in the culture or not. Because if you say that I am not fitting in you try to hop into some other culture, it could be the same thing. So you need to find out actually which is your best area and stick to that. A lot of time you don't find the best job that you would want to do. See, all of us would be happy doing the best job which we would want to do and love to do. But majority people don't find the best job or don't do the best job that they would want to do. So because of a lot of reasons, maybe it's money, it's prestige, or it is the job that they could do. So maybe if you ask me, maybe I would have been loving to travel around the world, but I could not find a job which would let me travel around the world. So I came to the profession. That could just an example. So a lot of people maybe liking photography, but will photography be able to earn them the living? So a lot of people have to do. So a lot of time you need to compromise on your uh, hobbies, but then you need to strike a balance. So maybe after once you are in the factory on Sundays, on Sundays and off days or whatever, you come back from office, you can do whatever interests you. Like now you are doing a channel on labor laws. This is something that interests you. So this is something maybe if you had a choice, you would have done it full time. But then you need to run a family, you need to earn a living, you need to maybe this is something that you would do it part time. So everyone needs to think. They need to actually rationally think. Now the second thing which I would tell them is they need to have a clear career path of what they intend to do. I heard somewhere that these days people don't change jobs; they actually change profession. So it's okay. A lot of people change careers, jobs. I mean to say, at least 7 to 8 times in a year on average on the lifetime. But these days people have started to change careers. Whether if today I'm a HR profession, tomorrow I can say okay, I don't want to do that. I want to become an entrepreneur. And then once I'm done with that, and I want to say, okay, let me go to wild photography. So as long as I'm able to earn and sustain my livelihood, that's okay. So people have a lot of options. There are a lot of options also, but yes, there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of competitions, but people need to learn to stand all those challenges and competitions. It's a difficult place. A lot of people, like you said, it's a very volatile space to work on. The pandemic, the war, and I don't know what things to come will create a lot of volatility, and this is going to happen. So people need to learn how to sustain the volatility, and people need to be okay. Okay, in the early days, losing a job was like a taboo. These days, losing a job is no more a taboo. A lot of people lost their job in the pandemic. It's okay. The industries could not keep them. The industry had to survive, so they asked some people to leave. So that nothing to do with the person's performance. It's just something to do with the industry that was not able to keep them. So if a person was asked to go, it's not because of performance of the person, it's because the industry could not sustain it. So if they had to sustain, they had to cut cost. So a lot of views of people have changed. A lot of things have changed. A lot of people now are employing gigs. So even you earlier we used to have consultants, now you have gigs. So people who do a lot of different works for their own, they're like consultants. You can be your own consultant. You come to the company. You're not a permanent employee. You're a consultant. You are a gig, and then you can come and go depending on what you do. So all this is happening. There's a lot of change in the working environment. A lot of people do not want to be bound by a 9 to 5 job. So it's okay to say, okay, you do my job. You are not a permanent employee. Doesn't matter. So depending on what capabilities you have, a person can do whatever he wants. But he needs to definitely have a lot of patience. He needs to definitely work hard. Because without working hard and with a lot of patience, you can never succeed. So yeah, there is a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of volatility, but there's a lot of opportunity also. So it's both ways. So I don't think so. There is any side weighing more. So the balance is struck, and it's equal balance, provided you put the effort that you would want, that you're required to put it, provided you have the knowledge and skill that you're required to have. So what is it's quite big. A lot of people are now earning a lot of earning huge number of money, quite a big money from different sources, from YouTube, from sessions, from traveling, from a lot of things. So yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insight. And really, it means a lot for me, for my viewers. I hope this video will be seen by, first of all, it will be seen by very less number of people, I know, because the channel is new. But I hope within very short span of time, it will be on a highlight mode. People will listen, people will understand the core insights which are portrayed here. And literally, sir, many thanks. Thanks is a very small word for your time, because these are pearls. These are, we cannot buy these words. We cannot buy these experiences. Experiences more than anything. On this note, we'll close this session. I know it is a bit long session, but listen, इसको अच्छे से सुनिए, एक एक word को सुनिए. I think life सुधर सकता है. I think so. Sir, thank you, and again thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
चलिए, we'll close the session. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.